let's start with design part first, right? In
Okay.
Android. So, are you aware of constraint layout?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so what are barriers in constraint layout?
Uh, in that, like, I face, we had this thing, like in a frame layout kind of things. I was stuck somewhere. Okay.
Okay.
And other thing is fine, it's because no need to any other layout you can do, and that is a compatible with older devices and all.
Okay, so why do you think we should prefer constraint layout or other layouts?
See, like,
So, what is the point you will decide which layout we should be preferring to design a layout, design a screen?
for designing a screen, see, previously we was using relative or linear layout. That was for different devices. It was not fixed. I mean, it was not. Sometime it's getting cut somewhere. So, but
Okay.
if we going to design in constraint layout, is I mean, compatible with all devices. No need to change anything. Like in tablet also it will work, in devices also, small devices also it will work.
Okay, so consider I'm designing a screen.
Okay.
So the screen should support to tablet layout. For example, in
Hmm.
mobile I should see some different alignment. In tablet I should see some other
Hmm.
alignments.
Hmm.
So how do you differentiate this and you will design?
We can use fragment. Okay.
Okay.
And in the fragment, uh, we can make different layout. Okay. In like we having layout package. Okay. In the package we can create different layout for tablet. So when it will be a tablet, it will take that layout. If it is in mobile, then it will take mobile design.
Okay. So are you using constraint layout in your projects?
Few actually, long back we have started. So in other application we have done it fully in concept layout. In the application, because 4-5 developer has worked on that, so few have used constraint layout and that relative linear also.
Yeah. How long you are using constraint layout?
Not much. I mean, 6-7 months before I have started this thing.
From 6-7 months long you're using constraint layout, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So how many types of chains do we have in constraint layout?
Uh, what change?
Chain.
Chain, like, we have linear, okay, and relative also, horizontal, vertical.
Okay. So total there are 4 chains, right?
Yeah.
So let me tell you one scenario. You just tell me how do you achieve this using constraint layout,
Okay.
right? So I have one screen. I'm placing image on center of the screen,
Okay.
right? So the size of the image should not be a static one. For example, the width should be like dynamic. In API, I'll get one image. The
Mm-hmm.
image which should be some dynamic. Based
Mm-hmm.
on the width, I should get height as well. For
Mm-hmm.
example, it should be a square image every time.
Mm-hmm.
So based on the size of the width, I have to align the height automatically
Okay.
with the help of constraint layout. So
Okay.
how can I achieve this particular functionality?
uh, for image, like, we can, the height will be a wrap, and the width also, and that will be also wrap. Okay. And in that, like, we can use for a drawing view. Okay. In that, like, we have some types to fit center, or uh, I mean, center vertical. So with that we can do it.
Okay. So I've used recycler view.
Yes.
What is different between recycler view and normal list view?
See, in recycler view, like, we have example, we have 100 data. Okay. While we are scrolling the view, so we have in recycler view view holder. Okay. So in that, it's not creating new view for upcoming data, it will reuse the view for whatever they have used, whatever we have scrolled data, that view it will reuse for upcoming data.
Okay, so what is pagination?
Pagination is like mobile is a smaller device. Okay, so while we have 1 lakh of data, you cannot use one at a time because it will take more time to load the data, 1 lakh data. So for that we can use around some parts of data, around 10 20 20 we can load. Okay, so
Okay.
while we are scrolling, we can call first 10 data, then next 10 data, so it will be a good.
Okay, so consider I'm using recycler view, right?
Yeah.
So I'm designing two XMLs.
Okay.
One XML contains one button, other XML contains one text. So I have to arrange in recycler view like this way. For example, first should be text, other should be button. Then third should be text, other should be button. So similar way I should arrange this in a single recycler view. So how can I achieve this?
See, first of all, we can make one card view. Okay, in the card view, then we can make constant layout. Then we can make first text. Okay, then left of the right of the text we can make the button.
No, consider you have two XMLs. Text and button are part of two different XMLs.
Okay, so we can include.
Okay, right. So what is difference between mutable list and list?
Mutable list, and see the list, whatever data you have added, that cannot be a change, you can't change in future, but in mutable list you can change.
Okay, so what is sealed class in Kotlin?
Sealed class you cannot override, you cannot extend that class.
Then why do we use sealed class?
For protect, like you cannot access any other class. For protection we need seal.
Give me some real-time example. Where do you use sealed class?
Suppose we have one class, okay, and you don't want to allow to other class can use, other package can use. Okay, so you can make it sealed so that nobody can access that a particular feature.
Okay, how do you create a singleton class in Kotlin?
We have object, right? Object keyword. With that keyword we can create singleton.
Okay, so yeah, what are content providers?
Content providers. Content provider, see, I know that I don't know what is the type because I have not used, but content providers use like we have two application, okay, and you wanted to access the other application data to your application, so you can do that. Like in PhonePe, we can access the contact.
Okay.
So we can do by using content provider.
Okay, so are you using any design patterns in your projects?
MVVM.
Okay, are you aware of MVP, other things as well?
In last company I have used MVC. In current company everything is in MVVM.
Okay, so how do you communicate between a view model and a view?
A view model and a view.
View.
Okay. See, we can make because view model hold the data, so we have some like observable thing is there, live data. So with the view model reference we can access that.
Okay, so then how do you access between view and view model?
View and view model.
Yeah.
See, like we can make some I can take example like live data we have, okay, so in that we have to set view and get view. So in that reference we can take in the view class, I mean fragment or activity with view model reference, and with that we can access.
Okay, so are you aware of data binding?
Yes.
Why do you use data binding?
Like normally what we was doing, we was setting any data to directly in the fragment, okay, in logical part. We was not setting in the XML, so we can set the data in directly to the XML with the data binding.
Okay, so what is two-way data binding?
Two-way data binding, like uh, we can access that data from the suppose one button click is there, okay, so that we can access from the fragment also.
Okay, so what are binding adapters?
Binding adapters, yes, suppose you have something common, okay, suppose you are getting some date format from backend, okay, and you wanted to change in different format, then you can do in binding adapter and you can access to XML with the name.
Okay, so how do you create binding adapters?
We can create one file to the in Kotlin, and with the name you can write any name and the override that name.
Okay.
Binding adapter, with the binding adapter with the name you
Okay.
can directly access.
Okay, so what are coroutines?
Coroutines, it is similar to RxJava, okay, so the creating a single I mean separate thread for the applications.
Okay, so what are different types of coroutine scopes?
Coroutines scope, like launch is there, sync,
Okay.
input, this some more is there.
Okay, so how do you perform a parallel operation using coroutine?
Parallel operation, yeah. See, like we are calling the one API, okay, so from the interface we need to comes to the repository, and then from repository to we can use the launch, okay, and through that launch we can perform the these operations.
Okay, so what is the difference between launch and async in coroutine?
Actually a launch always fire and forget, okay, and in async it gives some lambda result.
Okay, so is live data lifecycle dependent or independent?
Life cycle, live data, yeah, it's dependent on life cycle.
Okay, so if there is no life cycle, I can't use live data.
mm, you can use, I guess, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so what is fragment container view?
Fragment container view, like that will be the base of the fragment. In that you can replace all the fragment.
Okay, so what is on backpress dispatcher?
On backpress, see, like we have some while we are going from one fragment to another fragment, so it's make some stack, okay, while we are going back, so it's clearing the stack.
Okay, okay, so what are fragment transaction methods we have?
Transaction method, fragment manager, transaction, but right now we are using navigation graph. In that there are no such kind of thing, only the navigator fragment is there.
Okay, so how do you pass argument in navigation graph?
Then we can use bundle, or in navigation graph we have argument, so we can
Okay,
do that.
okay. Have you used any dependency injection?
Dependency injection, we have used Codeine.
Codeine. Okay. So are you aware of a dagger or a hilt or something like that?
Coin and Dagger also I have not used much, but yeah, I'm aware of that.
Why do we prefer dependency injection?
Actually, you wanted to access it create the instance of the classes. Okay, whatever classes we have in application, it create instance.
Okay. So if you call the class, if you create an object, then it will create an instance, right? For creating instance, why we are preferring dependency injection?
Uh, uh, Scope storage. No idea. Hello?
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, no idea.
Okay. So consider in your API you're using API calls, right?
Yeah.
So if the API is without SSL,
Okay.
then do you want to do any configuration in your application so that it will run in the Android device, or you should not do any configuration?
I didn't get what you're saying.
So consider I'm using API.
Okay.
The domain is not SSL certified.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So at a particular time, do we need to do any configuration so that can able to call that particular domain as an API, or we should not want to do any configuration in mobile application?
We need to do configuration
Okay.
because
What type of configuration?
see, for accessing from calling API to accessing the retrofit thing, we need to configure. Otherwise, if we have long, I mean, in one project we have multiples of API. Okay, not a single API. So for that we need to do this configuration.
Okay. So what a work manager?
Work manager. It provide the suppose you have some future tasks, so it
Okay.
helps to complete that.
Okay. What are types of tasks we can achieve using work manager?
Suppose some notification or alarm thing, and some background service part.
Okay. Okay. So consider you have some third-party library. You want
Okay.
to include this in your project.
Okay.
So how many types of ways do I follow to include this particular third-party library into the project?
See, first we can take the library, or we can use directly to the in Gradle build. Okay, and then we can initiate in the application class, or we can if we have the model fully the model, then we can go to the there in Android Studio. We have the settings, in that add the dependency. From there we can add it.
Okay. So what are intent filters?
Intent filters, uh, it helps the start the fragment, or start the activity and service and broadcast receiver.
Okay, so basically in our project, where we use intent filters.
In
By
manifest file,
default, they will be creating a intent filter, right?
yeah, in manifest file we create for, I mean, like launcher is there, no launcher activity, in that we create